Ford dealers still think we are in the pandemic era when it comes to pricing of some of their cars. Check out this 2024 Bronco Raptor. It's still basically at its MSRP price of a little over $100,000. This is despite the fact that it's a previous year unit and has been sitting for over 515 days. Yet they haven't budged on this price at all. Now, I understand these Bronco Raptors are meant as luxury items for people with some extra cash. I get that. But the problem is, in this economy, even people on the higher end of sales are being tight with their wallets. So even the higher end customers aren't buying. And so far, this dealership has about 30 previous year units, and we are under 3 months away from 2026. This is after an entire summer of their 000 event, which meant 0% financing, 0 cash down, and 0 payments. On top of that, they are reducing credit requirements for buyers with poor credit. Ford is just scraping the bottom of the barrel in order to try to get some sales. Now, I have to be honest, this has actually been improving their sales, at least according to this article, where it states that Ford has had a successful quarter and an increase in sales in the past 7 months. Their year-over-year sales increased at 8%. This is everything except for their Lincoln brand, which was down year-over-year. Now, this one quote by the article from Edmunds states, Ford's attempt at offering free money with its 000 program came at a high cost in the quarter, with only 7% of Ford's finance dealers at 0%, and the average monthly payment was $1,048. Now, this quote is very telling because it lines up with what I believe. All of this is a mirage. These sales, the added revenue, their actual profit per vehicle is definitely down. It just has to, with all the discounts they are giving. And that $1,048 average monthly payment is just a disaster waiting to happen. The only reason it's even semi-feasible is because of the 0 down and 0 payments for 3 months. How many of these consumers would be able to get into these cars without those two incentives? My guess is probably not many. But Ford is just sacrificing future sales for short-term profit. We already have a problem with delinquencies and repossessions in the auto sector. Ford is just adding to this issue. Now here's the bad news. From what I can see, it seems like these policies have given life to a lot of these automakers to continue on with their high prices. Now the big problem for us as consumers is that these moves to aggressively try to get customers will cause prices to remain higher. Even if this is temporary, it does create a floor for car prices right now. Ford is basically doing whatever it can to get customers back in the mix. Now, keep in mind, their 000 promotion is really just meant for dealerships that are struggling. Dealerships that are doing fine are going without it. This is something that was mentioned in the article, but I think most of us already knew that. With that in mind, Ford achieved 2 things with this event. Number 1, it got rid of a lot of the excess inventory it produced last year. Secondly, it prevented a downward spiral of prices on their inventory. I noticed in a lot of places, dealerships were not aggressively competing with each other on prices anymore. By essentially giving away money to move the massive clog of previous year units, Ford saved a lot of their dealerships that were massively struggling. It says in another part of this article, despite the program being more marketing versus reality, Ford did post an impressive 8% growth overall and further cut down their 2024 model year inventory with a little over 1 in 10 sales derived from 2024 model year inventory, Drury said. So it looks like 10% of their sales were 2024 models. And we know the 2024s are heavily discounted, so Ford and the dealerships took a big hit on those. But like I said, a lot of that black shadow of the prior year models is no longer hanging over their head. I mean, you look at a lot of Ford dealerships and they don't have the insane amounts of 2024s anymore. But here is the troubling math. If you're Ford, you had 8% growth, but 10% of your sales were previous year models. What happens when those dwindle down? Here's the thing. There's 2 months and a half left before 2026, and I don't see much in the way of 2026 units on these Ford lots, neither in my town or the ones I look up online. So, to give you actual numbers to compare, this Ford has 14 out of 215 as 2026 models. A Chevy in the same town has 289 out of 442 as 2026 units. Another Ford in LA has 32 out of 200, but a Chevy in the same town has 153 out of 225 as 2026 models. So Ford, despite being the top seller, is massively behind Chevy in terms of rolling out their 2026 inventory. The fundamental problem for the auto industry is that the monthly payments are getting out of hand. The only way to make them more manageable is by extending the term. But that means the consumer is not going to come back anytime soon. The negative equity on the vehicle becomes an albatross on the neck of your average person buying these overpriced cars. But this is what Ford is basically doing to stay afloat, just eating into future sales for present profits. The average transaction price is still over $50,000 according to this article. So these discounts have not amounted to much, and that number is only going to go higher. But let me know what you guys think of all this in the comment section. Are you seeing the same thing with your local dealers? And if you enjoyed this, make sure to click like and subscribe. See you guys in the next one.